What's up? How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the Wednesday night stream here in Zebesmont. Hope everyone's doing well. We got all kinds of fun stuff to talk about this evening. Spider-Man rumors, but not just about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Spider-Man characters in Doomsday. And somebody gonna die. Somebody gonna die. But which Spider-Man in which movie? We will talk about that. Plus, there's some DCU news to talk about. James Gunn is, well, he's fucking being James Gunn. So we'll get into all of that here in just a little while. But until then, fill your cup and light your smoke. Because it's time to get nerdy. Damn right I'm returning in Avengers Doomsday. Which is better. Infinitely better than returning in your mom. Anyway, welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's well. Hope you had a good beginning to your week, unless you are living in an area affected by Canada, aka the polar vortex, aka all the goddamn winter storms covering like 80% of the fucking country right now. Holy shit. So if you're in the zone, as it were, I hope you're doing okay. Hope you're able to get around all right. Hope nothing bad is happening to, well, anything in your lives, vehicles, family, all that good shit. So, setting the weather aside, how y'all doing? Y'all having a good week so far? When I say y'all, I mean Spicy Dan. I mean Brooke. I mean Icarus. I mean Delta Dan. I mean C-Dub. Smoked already, smoked, brother. Might get a cup in a bit. Well, there you go. Speaking of smoking, I forgot to fucking tune this bitch up. I gotta figure out how to get this thing on the clock. The only thing I don't like about carts, they get clogged. Look at that. Look at that shit right there. I just sucked that out of there like a pro smoker. Like a pro smoker. You know, dirty-minded motherfuckers. I know what you were thinking. You're on the last episode of Castlevania Season 4? Yeah, it's a pretty good show. Watch Nocturne now. Castlevania Nocturne. It's a sequel. 2 seasons long. Do about a 300-year time jump. It's pretty dope. Lacey Dan says, we're getting 8 inches on Friday, and the wife said that would be a 6 more than normal. Well, whether that's a joke or she actually said it, that's fucking hilarious. And if she actually did say that, fucking kudos to your wife. And just so you know, I have not always been there's been any length of time in my life where I was frequently insensitive to a lot of things and a lot of people, and it was more of my life than not. So it's I've been trying to train my brain not to think things, but I don't know. If you're paying attention, you'll know the jokes I'm avoiding right now. But let's just say there's a couple insensitive jokes that came to mind, and I'm sorry. I can't help myself. Ask her to elaborate, says Icarus. Well, if I'm taking that literally, what Spicy Dan said, I think I can elaborate on her behalf and ask if you've ever seen The Hangover, and if you have, to let you know that if that's literal, then we're talking about being unlike Ken Jeong. Kind of what we're getting at. Now we know my Spicy Dan's constantly growing peppers. There it is. Now we know my Spicy Dan grows the big hot peppers. And the goopy shit just tastes bad. Giggity, exactly. So what's up with you guys? By the way, Spicy Dan, do you live in an area affected by this shit-tastic weather? And if so, is it damaging the peppers? Is your crop in danger? Is this about to cause a hiccup in the supply lines of the hot sauce? Yes, no, maybe so. You know what? You're probably playing Rivals. You'll type later. It's cool. It's all good in the hood or the basement. Just Oklahoma, and your current crop is in your spare room waiting for you to order dirt for the greenhouse. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Peppers. Peppers. Hot sauce. Bears. Bears. You spent today winterizing your chicken coop? That sounds like a whole lot of tedious. I'm sure the chickens appreciate it, though. I'm sure the chickens are most grateful in a very chickeny way. Griff, what's up? There's a Masters of the Universe teaser teasering a trailer for tomorrow. Yes, I saw that. I was not impressed. I was not impressed at all. Matter of fact, I'll be honest. Nothing I have seen about this movie, descriptions, visuals, anything, has impressed me about the Masters of the Universe movie. I'm hoping the trailer tomorrow changes my mind. I really am. But like everything I've seen about this movie to this point in time, including today's teaser, not encouraging. And I loved that shit when I was a kid. Delta Dan, my younger brother might be giving me my first niece with my blood tonight or tomorrow. Nice! I have a ton of nieces and nephews on my wife's side. Baby Valentina will return before doomsday. Oh, that's going to be her name. That's so sweet. I mean, it's also Julie Louise Dreyfus's character in the MCU, but it's still a pretty name. That's so awesome. Congratulations to you and your brother. That's pretty fucking cool, bruh. It's pretty fucking cool. Tonight or tomorrow? Is she in labor? Actually, technically, it'd be your younger brother's wife will be giving you the niece. But anyway, I mean, scientifically speaking. But yeah, that's dope. Is she in the hospital? Is she in labor? Has labor begun? Is that why you're saying tonight or tomorrow? God damn. There we go. She's getting induced in 2 hours. Oh, okay. Well, if she's in my time zone, then yeah, it'll probably be tomorrow because it's 9:14 where I'm at. She's getting induced in 2 hours, 11 o'clock. I mean, she could still get it out before midnight Eastern. Could be today. Is this their first? Is this their first overall child? Probably, given the first niece. Well, you did say niece. You didn't. You were specific about niece. You didn't say anything about nephew. So is it their first? Like I have my 3-year-old grandson, and now I have my almost almost 3-month-old granddaughter. So I'm like all about the babies right now. I've been all about the babies for 3 years. So and now there's two. Well, one toddler and one baby. Toddlers are still babies. They're like, 3-month-old kittens. Old enough to start being able to do things here and there, but really just completely fucking ignorant. And no sense of danger and, ready to accidentally off themselves at a moment's notice. Yeah. But that's pretty sweet. Good vibes to Delta Dan's younger brother and sister in law chat. Pregnancy's pretty routine, but not all the time. So good vibes that everyone comes out of that healthy and happy. Yeah. I've got to figure out a bit of a better. Had a lot of trouble having the baby. They had to get. Oh, okay. So they've been working hard. Okay. If she doesn't have it by tomorrow, they'll probably have to do a C-section, even though she wanted to do it now. Is she like overdue at this point? Well, probably. That's why they're inducing. Yeah, because I don't know. You have yeah. They don't want to go past 40. Okay, yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, yeah, like yeah, I don't know. I was away from the mics. I don't know how much of that you caught, but yeah, my granddaughter, she had to be induced. She was 8 days late. They're like, nope, out with her. Have some pitocin. That's right, pitocin. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, pitocin party. Although I just learned that there are other things that they can do to try and induce besides Pitocin. Pitocin is kind of last resort these days, which is good because word on the streets is that shit's even more painful than natural labor. What I've been given to understand by women who have been through it. Both. Who've needed it and also didn't need it on a different pregnancy. Yeah, but that's awesome though, dude. You're about to have your first niece. By the way, she's gonna own you. Your wife was induced for your first, and then you had the second natural with no drugs in your bathroom. What the fuck? She's a beast. Yeah, I would say so. Holy shit! Was she in the tub or? You know, never mind. Never mind. I don't need to know. What like was that the second one? Was that like a midwife thing? No, seriously, was that like a midwife thing in the tub and that kind of shit? I've read about that shit. Is that like a whole midwife dealy? Because I know my daughter considered that with their first one, with who is now the 3-year-old. My little bug, my little Bubba. He's such a cool kid too. I mean, he's a 3-year-old, so he's also slightly insane and has no sense of danger. And whether he needs or wants to do something, it's always I need to, which is cute. I need to go downstairs. I need to go over here. I need this. No, you want that. I need it. Okay. Yeah, he's fucking adorable. He's fucking adorable. Wasn't on purpose. It was a super pain in the ass. I imagine. Took you like 3 months to get birth certificates and social security cards from the hospital. Couldn't prove she was born in the U.S. Right. I mean, yeah, that's crazy. How old is your second now? Lucky your wife's friend's a nurse that lives 5 minutes away and delivered it. Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that's quite fortuitous there, sir. Quite fortuitous. Oldest is 7, and the bathroom baby is 3, going on 4 in March. Oh, okay. Bathroom baby is only, let me do quick math, 6 months older than my grandson. By the way, please put her proper name in the chat. I don't want to call her bathroom baby. Or him. I don't want to call the second one bathroom baby or the second one. What's the child's name? Unless you're comfortable giving it. I totally respect that. I should have thought of that. But yeah, if that's the case, then it's cool. We'll just keep calling the child bathroom baby. Whatever works for you, dude. You're the dad you call the shizots. As long as your wife isn't around. German Twitter, they're called K1 and K2. I thought K2 was a mountain. Marty, named after your wife's grandfather, Martin. Aw, that's so cute. Oh. That's cool. This is my oldest K1 and my second oldest K2. K3 and 4 are at home still. They are not old enough to go out. That sound about right? C-Dub. Your oldest 8-year-old was a C-section. 5-year-old born in the car on the way to the hospital. I feel like you brought that up. 3-year-old was finally born in the hospital, and you got to catch her and cut the cord. All girls. Nice. Well, at least you got the, you finally got the, I guess, normal experience with the last one, so that's good. Well, you can't throw a Y chromosome to save your ass, can you, brother? It's kind of funny that the Y chromosome makes you genetically a male and that it's got a stem on it. Neither y'all can throw a fucking Y chromosome. Maybe switch hands. That'll work some to the top. You guys are awesome, though. I mean, I'm glad you guys have such happy, healthy families, though. That's awesome. That is awesome. Even if your broods look like, a Disney movie. Female led. Girl boss. In the car, you're driving at 100 miles per hour at 7 a.m. Your wife's in the back seat and yells, "Babe, she's here." What? Okay, well, you wanted to try for boy. You don't want to risk 3 girls. Oh, that's funny. Babe, she's here. All right. Well, of course, Mrs. Chillin is on this list. Don't fuck with either C-Dub or Delta Dan's wife. Those are some tough ladies. Turn around for a split second and saw your wife squatting, holding the baby. God damn. Some babies take 24 hours to be born or longer. I've heard of plenty of women in labor for 30 plus hours, and I feel so bad for them. Some are really impatient. That is also true. Amazing creatures. Never raised one of my own, unfortunately. As far as I know, no letters, no knocks at the door. There are no young chillins running about. But Mrs. Chillin's daughter is my soul child. Have I ever... Anyways, so it's funny. Snapchat has all the filters, right? So, my daughter, Ashley, I mean, technically stepdaughter, she's my fucking daughter. So, they're fucking around on Snapchat, and, she put the bald filter on herself, right? And sent us the picture. And we all pretty much shit ourselves because when she did the bald filter, she did look like she came forth from my loins, even though she definitely did not. So she is my soul child, 100%. kind of awesome, though. No problems, all natural. Pulled off at the first exit, which had a fire department right there. All the firefighters came out, took care of everything, and high-fived you. Nice. They should have been high-fiving your wife. She did all the work. All you did was fucking drive, bro. At a high rate of speed, but, you know. You were excellent transportation, but, you know, let's be real. She did all the fucking work. They should have high-fived her. All right. Got a whole crew of ambulances and firefighters in your damn house. Jeez. You guys, my life has been goddamn boring. I think that's easy. Most people would have wrecked immediately. I mean, that's fair, but she still did fine. She still did a vast majority of the work. And closest to that any dudes ever go through is like kidney stone, or like finally getting out a dump after being constipated for like a week. And neither of those come even close. So yeah, I'm still giving her most of the credit. Yep. All right, y'all ready to get into some news? Y'all ready to get into some news? I'm ready to get into some news. Rumors for the opening of Doomsday is insane. Oh, we'll get to that. We are, though, chat. We are going to begin over at DC. Yes. There's some DC news that came out over the last few days. And because, you know, it's DC and we'll probably spend more time complaining than praising, we'll get that shit out of the way. Okay. Back to here you go. All right. So, James Gunn, believe it or don't, Sunday. This is going to shock you, chat. Brace yourself. Baby basement. Kind of, yeah. Actually, it was the other day. Kids have been over a couple, 3 times over the last week or two, so it actually does become baby basement. Her fault it happened. She was so adamant about staying in the hospital as a little possible when her water broke at 3 a.m. She told me to go back to sleep, and she actually did. Her wife is tough as nails. Yeah, she is. She most definitely is. Don't fuck with C-Dub's wife. Or Delta Dan's. Or mine. All 3 of us will just be able to sit back and just be like, yeah, yep, ooh, yep, that's, yeah, you don't fuck with her. Sit there and call it like we're, you know, outside UFC cage. Oh, oop, that's the double leg. And she's already in full mount. And the ground and pound has begun. Oh, that's hair. That's hair. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Okay. DC. So, where was I? Yes. Chat. This is going to surprise the absolute fuck out of you, but James Gunn was on social media on Sunday. On Threads. That's where he plays mostly. That's where James. And she'd still beat the shit out of you any day of the week. Yeah. But you're a gentleman and you don't hit women, so, you know. You'd let her, regardless. And you were raised on a farm? Oh, good God. You got that country strength. You country strong. Nothing I've heard, Brooke. Seen nothing. Just people fan casting Christopher Judge as Darkseid. That's it. All right. So yeah, surprise of all surprises, James Gunn was fucking around on Threads, answering questions of the fans, which on paper is cool if you only do it like once every great while, and other than that, you stay off the internet and run your goddamn studio. But Harris, what's happening, bro? What's up, motherfucker? All right, so Gunn was on the Threads answering questions, and Geek Vibes Nation was kind enough to put a summary together with bullet points. Fancy. So, item number 1. All rumors about Batman and Wonder Woman auditions are false. Now, we're going to find out this one is actually not a lie. We'll get to that, why it's not. But he was actually not lying there, at least about the Wonder Woman one. The big Man of Tomorrow reveal was Brainiac, but most of the major cast or characters we already met, with smaller roles now being cast. Which that one actually goes back to this first bullet point. I'll tie that in a little bit. No updates on the Brave and the Bold until the script is finished. I don't want to cloud the Bat Sphere until after the Batman Part 2. And we will also be circling back to the Brave and the Bold script. So put a pin in that as well. Several DCU projects are close to being greenlit, and one secret project already is. Ooh. I gotta say, though, if said secret project, exists, DC's keeping a tight lid on it. So far, James is literally the only person talking about said secret project. None of the scoopers or insiders seem to know anything about it. They don't talk about it ever. So, curious. I'll admit I am curious as to what that secret project is. That's been greenlit. I have no fucking clue. I wouldn't even know where to guess, mostly because Gunn likes to go after obscure characters. This is a repeated theme of his. And that hasn't stopped, and I'll explain that in a little while as well. So I am curious as to the secret project, and I hope it's like regular and mainstream and has an actually known and popular character in it. That'd be nice. That'd be super nice. All right. Dynamic Duo is not being rewritten to fit the DCU and is moving ahead smoothly. Okay, that's that one that's like live action and animated CGI. Yeah. Yeah, that's got what are the two Robins in it? Jason Todd and Dick Grayson, I think. I think it's Dick Grayson and Jason Todd are the two Robins in Dynamic Duo. All right. Batman and Wonder Woman are not in Man of Tomorrow. They're casting a different female character that Scoopers mistook for Wonder Woman. That actually appears to be very true. We will get to that. Sam McCurdy of Peacemaker, Shogun, Monarch, Legacy of Monsters will shoot Man of Tomorrow. So I'm assuming that means he's the cinematographer. No Clayface trailer for a couple of months. The film is in first cut and still set for September. Oh no. I have to wait for a Clayface trailer for 2 more months? Holy shit, I don't know if I can make it. Anyway, Gunn won't release 2 Batman movies in the same year. Yeah, we've heard him say that before. He's heading back to storyboards right now. Oh, good for him. Okay. So, that is the state of DC according to its studio head, James Gunn. 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 So, do you have any thoughts about any of that before we move on to a couple stories that will flesh some of this stuff out? Questions, thoughts, concerns. Oh, and while chat's thinking about what they want to type into the chat, I would like to apologize for this delay and welcome those of you who are on the replay that have actually made it this far. Thank you very much for clicking the video. I'm going to need everyone in this motherfucker live and on the replay to pretty please hit the like. And also, if you're new here, hit the subscribe and the bell. And also join the Discord. Link is in the description. I know someone put it in chat already, so if you scroll, you can find it there. Someone might throw it in again here in a little bit. That'd be awesome. But yeah, hit all the buttons. Join all the things, please, and thank you. Let me grab a drink because chat isn't blowing up yet. So I'm going to give you guys a little more time. Yes, no, nothing, don't care. All right, cool. Moving the fuck on then. Can't type a whole bunch, but you're making the gym much less hellish. Muchas gracias. Oh, no problem. Yes, the buttons, Icarus, the buttons. Yeah, get them gains, Harris. Get it. You liked successfully. Thank you, sir. Very, very much. I do appreciate that. I really, really do. All right. Yeah. So that was the DC world according to James Gunn. Now, oh, here's another little. This is just a little tidbit. No real details on it. But according to Nexus Point News, who is sometimes represented in a solo fashion by APOC Horseman. According to them, another male superhero is currently being cast in Man of Tomorrow to fight against Brainiac. Now, Gunn said they were casting minor roles, and that and this could be true, right? Because, you know, if this is a minor role, even if it's a male superhero or not, you know, they could come in at the end to help fight Brainiac and, you know, still have a minor role. You know what I mean? So, now, as to who the hell it could be, I got nothing. If Gunn is accurate and we are getting a male superhero to help fight Brainiac, but still in a minor role, I figure it's probably going to be another, you know, C or D tier fucking character that only massive DC sweaties have ever heard of. And only an even smaller portion of those DC sweaties probably like. You know? So, do I find it's an interesting little tidbit, but also, okay. We'll see how that is. What up, Brennan? We'll see who it is, but I would put, if there was a bet about the level of, well, let's see. What's the way I want to put it? The level of obscurity about this character, if that was on like Polymarket or some shit, I would be betting towards the more obscure, honestly. Because it's Gunn, and that's how he rolls. I swear, if he thought he could build a successful universe without using the main characters, you know that motherfucker would try. He'd rather make movies about characters like the Guardians. And let's be real, Guardians of the Galaxy are C-tier characters in the comics. Until the MCU. Yeah, you know, Guardians, Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad. Like, mainline characters are not really his thing. You know? I'm sure he loves them and appreciates them, but he definitely likes the niche characters a hell of a lot more. So I'm betting this male superhero to help fight Brainiac is going to be much more towards the obscure side than the well-known side. What do you guys think? A, what do you think about the fact that there's allegedly another male superhero being put into Man of Tomorrow, albeit allegedly in a minor role, popping in for the fight? What do you guys think about that as a concept, just in general? Like, I find it curious, but if you think about it, that's actually pretty consistent. And by that, I mean, let's face it, James Gunn's Superman is a cool movie, but he's kind of a bitch. Which is like, while I very much enjoyed the movie, I like the movie. I think it's a good movie, but that is like a gripe I have about the movie. Like, he literally had the movie start with the Man of Steel getting his ass beat. And then he flew back to Metropolis and got his ass beat. And then got his ass beat some more by Ultraman for a while. Like, so, yeah. So, if we're accepting that as the way Gunn is going to be treating his Superman, then another male superhero coming in a minor role to Man of Tomorrow to help Gunn's bitch ass Superman fight Brainiac just makes total sense, doesn't it? Hey, what do you think? That to me, that follows the pattern. And Superman is a little bit little bit of a pussy, little bit of a pussy. So it makes sense that he would need even more help to fight Brainiac, doesn't it? What do you guys think? Do you even give a fuck? Let's start there. That's probably the better question to ask. Do you even give a fuck that there's going to be another male superhero in Man of Tomorrow, probably in a minor role, to help Superman fight Brainiac? Does that move the needle at all? In any direction? Yay or nay? I really just hope they make Brainiac a badass villain. Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, I will give Gunn credit for this in Superman, although I don't know how much of it was the writing and how much of it is the fact that Nicholas Holt's actually a pretty good actor, despite what some people say. But the his Lex Luthor was pretty villainous, and not in a goofball way. Like, he literally capped a homie in the head right in front of Superman. So I mean, he's not like super physically badass, but like just in general, I would consider him in the territory of being a badass. James could do much more to make him even more badass. So it's possible, but he's gonna have to kind of go whole hog, especially with that almost completely unknown to 98, 99% of people actor that he hired to play him. Okay. Yeah, fuck it. We're done with the minor superhero role thing. So we are now going to circle back to a couple things from that James Gunn on Threads deal. First of all, you talked about how that they were casting for a female for Man of Tomorrow, but it was not Wonder Woman. Well, Charles Murphy put out an article about this the following day. This exact subject. The Man of Tomorrow reportedly set to feature second formidable villain. In November, insider Daniel Rickman, aka Daniel RPK, reported that DC Studios had begun searching for an actress in her 20s for a major role in Man of Tomorrow. Following the initial report, Nexus Point News followed up. That's a little redundant, Charles. Followed up with additional information that had fans theorizing that the character was Wonder Woman. As is often the case, DC Studios co-chair and Man of Tomorrow writer-director James Gunn took to social media to shoot down the growing buzz about Wonder Woman making her DCU debut in the Superman sequel. And now, a new report claims to reveal the true identity of the character. According to Nexus Point News, the mysterious character will be the alien warrior queen Maxima. All right. A member of the royal family of the planet Almerac, Maxima's primary motivation is the survival and evolution of her bloodline. Considered the ultimate genetic prize of her species because of the unique structure of her DNA, she spent years traveling the cosmos in search of a suitable mate, someone whose power could match her own and produce an heir capable of ruling Almerac. And that quest led her to Earth, where Kal-El's Kryptonian heritage caught her attention. A composite powerhouse with a wide array of superpowers, Maxima first appeared in an antagonistic role before transitioning into an ally of Superman and eventually a member of the Justice League. Her appearance in the film might indicate Gunn has adapted the 1992 Superman crossover event Panic in the Sky that featured Maxima teaming up with Brainiac. In an effort to destroy Earth, Brainiac used his telepathic abilities to enslave several cosmic heavy hitters into his army, including Maxima. Once she eventually broke free of his control, Maxima turned on Brainiac, lobotomizing him, and turned the tide of the battle in favor of Earth's heroes. While it's unlikely Gunn would directly adapt the event, it certainly does sound like the type of story he could draw from in an effort to bring Lex Luthor and Superman together in Man of Tomorrow. Okay. So, Maxima, not Wonder Woman, but Maxima, whose sole purpose appears to be running around the galaxy, the cosmos, to find someone to breed with. And her search brought her to Earth, where Superman be at. She's on a galactic-wide breeding search, looking for the right baby batter to continue for the continuation of her species, or no, to rule her species. Well, chat. Not only does that sound like a character again that only most sweaties would know about, a character on a breeding quest does that just oozes James Gunn, doesn't it? An obscure character basically hunting for the right back. Now, if that is that the if you had the right genetics, you could learn all kinds of shit about Maxima Brooke. Anyway, that that character choice. And it's cool that she's super powerful, and it's cool that she can be villainous. But like, basically, a super powered female character out on a breeding quest. If I mean, if that doesn't sound like James Gunn, I don't know what does. But, obscure, and the amount of perverted jokes that could be made about her, at her, around her, with gun heaven right there. So unfortunately, Nexus Point News is probably right because given the gun of it all, this makes a lot more sense. And frankly, I'm disappointed for a couple reasons. One, again, this is gunning all over this with the obscure character with a background that just screams toilet humor. And we're not getting another member of the Trinity yet. Still, yes, I know Superman just came out last summer. Fine, Man of Tomorrow comes out 2 years after that. Like literally the only, I mean the scriptwriter that wrote Supergirl is working on a Wonder Woman script. So that is happening. I think even Gunn confirmed that. Hopefully that was on his list of stuff that's getting close to being greenlit but isn't quite there yet. Because, god damn it, we need the Trinity. We don't need Maxima. We really don't need Clayface. We need the Trinity. So it's kind of a bummer that we're getting Maxima and not Wonder Woman. And then you compound the fact that it's not Wonder Woman with this very James Gunny obscure character. Then oh my god, like what is Man of Tomorrow going to be like? Because I mean, we all saw Superman. We know that the action was good in Superman for the most part. There's a couple scenes where I was like, really? But for the most part, the action in Superman is pretty good. So I don't think Man of Tomorrow is going to suffer in that area. I don't think it's going to suffer visually, just in general. Superman was very visually appealing. But this character being selected for Man of Tomorrow, I don't know, man. I dropped something. Yeah, I just don't like the choice. Like, I just don't like it. It's not the right direction. It's not the right direction tonally. It's just no. You don't need to like populate your universe with almost nothing but C&D characters. That's lame. It's lame, James. I have to start calling him Lame's Gun. Lame's Goon. There we go. Not James Gunn anymore. It's Lame's Goon. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Yay, nay, cool, don't care, mistake. What the fuck? What do you think, chat? Excuse me. Mostly neutral. Fair. Jenna Herber? Yeah, exactly my point. Exactly my point. It's going to be interesting to see who they cast for this character. Deltan says nay. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see who he casts for a character with this description and purpose. And you'd think it'd be someone like, on the very high end of attractive. Yeah, there you have it, chat. We're not getting Wonder Woman. We're getting Maxima. I'm sorry, DC. One thing that DC has never, and I think will never catch Marvel at character names. DC has some of the lamest fucking character names. Oh my God. But that's a whole really nothing burger, but I just figured I'd throw that out. Just figured I'd throw it on out there. Anyone else watching Fallout? I am not yet. Still, I've been Castlevania-ing it like a madman for the last couple weeks. And then I started Vox Machina the other day. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, but I dig it so far. Yeah, I've been on a Western anime ripoff style shows lately. Well, mostly just Castlevania, and again, I just started Vox Machina. It's a fun show. Yeah, you're watching actual anime, bro. Castlevania and Vox Machina are Western. As far as I understand it. Randon! What's up, man? Fuxicles. All right. So, we have now tied it back into the no, we're not getting Wonder Woman. But this is who they're casting for. Was Maxima. Now, Gunn also talked about the Brave and the Bold and not wanting to cloud the Bat Sphere and all that shit. And that, we've been wondering what the fuck he's going to do about a DCU Batman. What the fuck is happening with Brave and the Bold? Well, guess what? Late last evening, around, I don't know, 11, between 11 and 11:15 p.m. my time. So between 8 and 8:15 p.m. PT. Jeff Snyder, on his newsletter, revealed that the screenwriter for Batman, the Brave and the Bold is none other than Christina Hodson. Who is Christina Hodson, you ask, and what has she written? Well, I'll tell you. But at that point, it was a Jeff Snyder exclusive, but, technically a rumor. And, of course, people are like, there's no fucking way, yada, yada, yada. And then, well, yesterday morning. I misspoke. So yesterday morning, so late Monday night, Snyder broke that. And then Tuesday morning, the Hollywood Reporter confirmed it and gave us this lovely article, which we are now going to read, which will give us all the details we want. Here we fucking go. This is by Boris Kitt, one of the biggest writers there. Batman. Goddamn fucking stupid ass ad. Get out of my face. Anyway. Batman movie, The Brave and the Bold taps Christina Hodson to write for DC Studios. Andy Muschietti remains involved as director as the studio takes a measured approach in its development. All right. Christina Hodson, known for her work in the big IP and action spaces, is working on a Batman movie for DC Studios, The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. Hodson is writing The Brave and the Bold, the feature project that is centered on Batman and Robin. Robin in this version is Damian Wayne, the murderous tween raised by assassins who also happens to be the son Batman never knew he had. That's because Talia al Ghul drugged him, boned him, milked him, and bred him. And behold, Damian. All right. It is unclear how far along is Brave and the Bold in the writing process. DC Studios had no comment on Hodson's involvement. Yeah. Notice when James Gunn chooses not to fucking talk. Interesting, because he won't shut the fuck up any other time. Anyway, one source said the scribe had been working on the project since at least the fall. Another source said it would be some time before a definitive draft comes in, as the studio is taking a measured approach to its development. Okay. DC has faced conflicting currents in the development of its Batman movie. James Gunn and Peter Safran, who head DC, announced a Brave and the Bold project from the outset of their launching the superhero movie division in 2023. Andy Muschietti, who directed The Flash for Warner Brothers and the previous DC film division, was on board to develop and direct the project. But finding a writer and a take on the material proved, for the longest time, elusive. Muschietti remains on board, but his ultimate involvement depends on several factors, including timing and availability. The filmmaker now finds himself a hot commodity thanks to the muscular success of Welcome to Derry, HBO's It series. A second season is now in the works, even if it has not been officially renewed. Well, guess what? As of today, couple 3, 4 hour, 5 hours, season 2 has been officially greenlit of Welcome to Derry. By the way, I saw that earlier. So if you're a Welcome to Derry fan, you are 100% now getting season 2. All right. Then there's the Batman movie, now in pre-production, from filmmaker Matt Reeves and actor Robert Pattinson. DC is said to be giving Reeves' project ample space to breathe and is no rush to put forth another Batman feature into the marketplace. It wants to make sure that Brave and the Bold is distinct enough in tone and look to stand apart regardless of when it gets made. Distinct enough in tone and look. Well, that could go either way. We'll see. Hodson has gained respect from peers and execs for her strong scripts. She has worked in the Gotham City corner of DC before, having penned a script for a Batman Beyond feature that earned praise inside the studio, but was never made. So was it really that good? She has several other DC credentials, having worked with Muschietti on The Flash. She was a writer on The Flash. She also penned Margot Robbie-led Birds of Prey movie. Her other credits include the 2018 Transformers movie Bumblebee. That was actually decent. You know what? Let's see what else she's written. I feel like there's more. I want her whole filmography, not that half-assed fucking Hollywood Reporter had. All right. Wikipedia filmography. Okay. Her filmography is as follows. Shut In. Unforgettable. Bumblebee. Agent Burns, Welcome to Sector 7. Birds of Prey. The Flash. Oh, she was the one who was going to write the script for the Margot Robbie Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, she wrote that Batgirl movie that Zaslav fucking atomized. Okay, so she wrote Batgirl, The Flash, Birds of Prey, a couple other movies I never fucking heard of. Was gonna write the Margot Robbie Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And Bumblebee. So out of that whole fucking list, yeah, Bumblebee's the only thing that like even remotely gives any evidence that she actually can be a competent screenwriter. Because The Flash was ass. I haven't even watched Birds of Prey, but every time the subject comes up, ass. I mean, Batgirl got fucking nuked. It was so bad. So the person writing the movie that still appears to be where we will be introduced to our DCU Batman. The individual writing that movie wrote Birds of Prey, Flash, and the nuke Batgirl and Bumblebee. Bumblebee outside of DC. The rest of that inside DC. It's almost like she's a reversed Russo brother. Like they are amazing inside Marvel. Outside Marvel, she sounds like them but in reverse. She's outside DC, she can actually do shit. Inside DC, yeah. And this is the person that's going to be writing the movie in which we are going to get introduced to the DCU Batman. I gotta tell you, chat. I have concerns. I have a distinct lack of confidence in the quality of the first DCU Batman movie. I'm a bit nervous. And we got Superman. Guns Superman. Good movie. But he's kind of a bitch. Superman. Hopefully he matures and becomes more badass, but in the introduction that we got, he's a bit of a bitch. And as we went over earlier, they're casting allegedly for another male superhero to help Superman and Lex Luthor in the fight against Brainiac. So if he's maturing him out of being a bitch, it ain't happening in Man of Tomorrow. At least it does not appear that way on the surface. I'll put it that way. Yeah. So I at Obviously, lots of time for things to change, right? Lots and lots of time for things to change, especially since Gunn doesn't want to crowd the Batman Part 2, and the Batman Part 2 doesn't come out till October of next year. Not this year. October 2027 is when the Batman Part 2 comes out. And if he doesn't want to crowd that, that means the absolute earliest we're getting the Brave and the Bold is 2028. Probably not till early 2029. Unless Gunn wants to drop it during the holidays, which I don't know that that's when I would drop a Batman movie. Yeah, actually, you know what? That actually might not be that strategic. Strategic. But yeah, so lots of time, darn near 3 years. Well, 2 because you got to put that bitch into production at some point. So a year and a half. They have a year and a half to hash out the script, the story, and maybe hopefully realize she sucks ass and fire her and get a new writer and delay that bitch till 2029 because you goddamn well better do Batman right. Like you can fuck around, you can fuck around even with Superman a bit, you can fuck around with Wonder Woman a bit, but when it comes to DC, Batman is him, and you do not fuck up Batman. Like he's on the no list. No fucking up Batman. If you want a successful fucking DCU, don't fuck up Batman. You cannot fuck up Batman and have a successful universe. You just can't. And it already sounds like they're fucking up Batman. By hiring this writer. Yeah, any writer with that resume, I don't care what their genetics are, what they look like. If your resume is The Flash, Birds of Prey, and a nuked Batgirl movie, you shouldn't be writing any Batman movie, much less the one that's going to introduce that version of Batman to that universe. You know what that's like? You know what this hire is like, chat? Similar, not identical, but let me put it this way. This hire reminds me of the Charmin Obaid Chinoy hire. Someone who you can look at on paper and be like, yeah, you're not qualified for this shit. You're not the right person for this shit. And then they get hired. That's what this reminds me of. Like, I don't want anyone whose entire filmmaking experience is documentaries making a Star Wars movie as your first foray into the into like a movie rather than a documentary. Star Wars is not the place to be a first-time director of a feature film. That's the phrase I was looking for. Yeah. If you're directing your first feature film should not be Star Wars. If you wrote Nuke Batgirl, The Ass Flash, and Birds of Prey, you shouldn't be writing any kind of Batman movie, much less the one that's going to introduce James's DCU Batman. Am I wrong here? Does anyone disagree with this assessment? Please let me know. I'm curious. I would be curious to see what you would say to make me feel better. Basically, kind of what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a fight. I'm looking to be made to feel better about this shit. already said it, but you can't fuck up Batman. You just can't do it. You can't. Otherwise, you get Batman and Robin and Bat Nips. That's what happens when you fuck up Batman. You get Bat Nips. And I still can't figure out how there are people that defend that movie. So, I don't know how many of y'all are on Twitter, but the people will occasionally tweet out challenges like say something nice about this movie if it's like basically universally regarded to be bad, or say something negative about this movie that's generally universally regarded to be good. If I had to say one thing nice about Batman and Robin, I would have to say Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. That is the one nice thing I can say about Batman and Robin is Uma Thurman. And with this writer and that studio head, I am legit concerned that we are going to get Bat Nips 2.0. I don't know about y'all. I want nothing to do with that shit. Nothing. Oh, that's right. Alicia Silverstone, Batgirl. I forgot about her. Thank you for reminding me, Brennan. Yeah, that couldn't fix it either. Alicia Silverstone and Uma Thurman in the same movie. And that wasn't enough eye candy to make that movie sweet. Brutal. Woohoo! Bat Nips! Yeah. No bat. That movie was poopy buttholes. So that's what I think about that hire. What do you guys think? And if you want me to TLDR it, if you just got here, Christina Hodson being hired to write Raven the Bold, bad choice. TLDR on that. All right, chat. We got a couple little tidbits. Justin Kroll, who I believe works for the Hollywood Reporter, but evidently he does some YouTube shizzle. And who the fuck doesn't do YouTube on the side these days? Like, no fuck. Anyway, so he was talking yesterday, and he had a couple very, very, very interesting things to say. One of them was talking about how Feige's been stretched thin for a lot of years. That's not news to anybody, right? We've talked about that off and on for quite some time. And he brought it back up. Okay. And but then he talked about how Feige is now, that's no longer the case, and he's bearing down. According to him, Feige has been solely focused on Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars for the past year. Basically what he's saying is Feige spent 2025 concentrating on nothing but Doomsday and Secret Wars. Over there at Pinewood Studios. All up in that shit. Cooking. Guiding. Ordering. People around. Doing Feige stuff, and hopefully he's in full-on White Suge Knight mode over there and just fucking getting shit done. Travis! You also think, oh, fucker. How are you going to come in here with your first chat? I also think, like, you know, this has been an ongoing conversation between us. Oh, fuck. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze. Although I dug him. He was a cool Mr. Freeze. I also think Poison Ivy's the worst part of that movie. You almost have a fun homage to the 60s show, but Poison Ivy sexualized everything and completely drags down the movie. Yeah, I don't really feel that way. About her or about it being a fun homage to the 60s show. It felt like a failed attempt at being an homage to the 60s show, and not because of Poison Ivy. Just because they fucking did it wrong. You know what, Brooke? You're probably good with the clips you've seen. Did you even have a Bane? Well, I literally haven't watched it in decades, so I don't remember. Yeah. Has been concentrating on nothing but Doomsday and Secret Wars for pretty much the entirety of 2025 is what Mr. Kroll is making it sound like here. He says he only stepped away to hire Jake Schreier for the X-Men reboot film. Yep, we heard about that. And cast Sadie Sink. Chat. Let. Do you understand what he just said? More to the point, do you understand the implications of what he just said? Feige spent 2025 building a summer cottage in England in order to make sure Doomsday and Secret Wars are the dopest shit that he's done, or at least try to. That's the goal. And he only stepped away from being all up in that shit for two things. Two. Thing one, hire Jake Schreier, who, if you recall, was the one that directed the Thunderbolts, aka the New Avengers with Z, or was it Fantastic Four? Shit, now I forget. It was one of those two. God damn it! Fucking hell! I can't remember the bloody movie that Jake Schreier directed. Okay, it was Thunderbolts. All right, yeah. So the homie that did the Thunderbolts was hired to do the X-Men reboot, which makes sense. Thunderbolts was really good. It was a team movie. X-Men is a team, so it makes sense. So that was one of the two things that he allowed to distract him in 2025. Hiring Jake Schreier and casting Sadie Sink. What could there be about Sadie Sink's character that Kevin Feige would consider important enough to tear himself away from Doomsday and Secret Wars to cast her, Sadie Sink? Does that not suggest that Kevin Feige considers this character to be of vital importance? If that was the only other reason he took a break from Doomsday and Secret Wars last year? Does that not suggest that she is super fucking important if Feige's took a break? One of two he took. That's it, just two. Does that not suggest she is looking forward, right? Well, chat, I don't know about you. I think the odds of Sadie Sink being Jean Grey just became astronomically fucking higher. Like, before this, I thought that was still the most likely candidate, but I wasn't one. I had no plans to die on that hill. I'm at the top of that motherfucking hill now, looking down, going, "Bring it, bitch." I don't see any way she's not Jean. If Feige thought that this character was important enough for him to go handle, for him to pull a Thanos and be like, "Fine, I'll do it myself." Right? Doesn't that mean she has to be Jean? Nothing in between. And what do you think, chat? I don't. If she was that important to Kevin, I don't see how she's not fucking Jean Grey. Like I don't. Like, who the fuck else? Like, honestly, who else would be so important that they would cast a young redhead to be in the, as it stands right now, third to last mutant saga? It ain't fucking Firestar. It ain't Shathra. Probably not Madeline Pryor, because you got to have the original before you can have the clone. Probably not Rachel Summers, because they had way too much setup required for that. You can't just jump into that shit. I mean, obviously, we can't say 100%, but I can't think of any other character that even remotely makes sense once you add in this Feige shit to the scenario. Like, it was a lot easier to be like, no, she doesn't have to be Jean Grey. This could be this, it could be that, she could be her. It was a lot easier to make that case until now. Like, sorry, she's not going to be Shathra if Feige's all of it. Right? She's not going to be. She's going to be a lead, A tier, S tier, possibly character. I mean, that's just the only way I can see it. Exactly, brutal. Shathra. I mean, I will say this: when the Shathra rumors came out, based on, when the Shathra rumors came out, I found them somewhat believable based on the character description and the fact that the type of character that Shathra is totally, and I said this at the time, this was my justification for even accepting that it could be real, was that just seemed like such a Sony fucking thing to do. It just seemed like such a Sony thing to do. You got this character, and it that basically ties right back into their shit, like the Spider Verse stuff. She travels through universes, feeding on the spider totem of that universe. So she's a multiversal character, and since we're talking spider totems, ties her right directly back into the Spider Verse movies, which is pure Sony Spider Man shit. Like that, if Shathra being in that movie just sounded like totally Sonying all over Brand New Day. And when push comes to shove, like Feige would have to accept it in the end, or they go, my Tom Holland, and no more movie. If they really got their panties in a bunch. So, like that's why I found it believable, because it just seemed like some dumbass shit Sony would do in furtherance of their multiverse. I don't see how there's any other legit candidate besides Jean Grey when you consider these circumstances. She's Jean. Why is she in Spider-Man? Why not? Why not? I mean, we are coming up to the point. There are 3 Marvel/MCU movies left, and then reset. That's it. If they're going to start setting up the new universe, they pretty much need to do it now. So there's one reason. And 3, Marvel does its best work introducing characters in bigger title movies. Like Black Widow and Iron Man 2. Hawkeye and Thor. Hulk had his own movie, obviously. Iron Man had his own movie. Captain America had his own movie. But Captain America also simultaneously introduced Bucky, not a secondary character, but introducing characters under known titles, never a bad idea. Especially if they're like, now it's not a perfect system. See Riri Williams in Wakanda Forever. But for the most part, Marvel has made it work. Said he's going to be Pryor in Spider-Man and maybe Doomsday and then Jean Grey in Secret Wars. No, because there's no point introducing a Jean Grey clone until people know who the fuck Jean Grey is. Like in Spider-Man, well, in the X-Men, she's not even cloned until, her and Scott are together and they're about to get married and shit. None of that shit's established. Like Madeline Pryor's purpose was to replace Jean, get some Scott Summers baby batter, and make a powerful kid that missed what the fuck he wanted to utilize it for. But yeah, so you can't really jump right to Madeline Pryor, in my opinion. She requires true. Most people, the general audience, didn't know who the fuck Black Widow or Hawkeye were, but they did those well. If they'd have done a better job with Riri, then and there's no Sinister yet. Also true. Like, it's not that Riri is that bad of a character overall. I know a lot of people don't like her, but I can see where she would have had a lot of potential. Marvel just didn't do that. Do that well with her. Honestly, I feel the same way about Sam Wilson. I think he could have been a much more dope character, but Marvel fucked it up. Just like they also fucked up Kang. No, she's going to be the 616 Jean Grey. Kang could have been so. Yeah, he could have been so good if they'd have just stayed with him as like a cold ass, calculated. They could have made Kang a lot more Thanos like, but they made him a bitch. Like if they'd have ended Quantumania the way it should have been ended, then that the King the Conqueror variant would have been like awesome, and people would have been like, "Yo, I want to see more of this motherfucker." But they didn't, and people are like, "What the fuck is this shit?" I thought he would King the Conqueror. He didn't conquer a fucking thing. So yeah, He Who Remains was dope. That's the only King variant they introduced that was actually dope. Not the stuttering dude. Almost King the Conqueror. Was King the Conqueror until the end. That post credit was lame as shit. Council of Kings post credit. Also, of course, attached to Quantumania. That was lame as fuck. So, yeah, definitely a squandered opportunity. I don't know, guys. We're continuing down this rabbit hole. What do you think is the biggest waste of a villain, Kang or Gore? Who do you think Marvel did, like, wasted the most, Kang or Gore the God Butcher? Victor Timely, yeah. Victor Timely. 2 votes. 3 votes for Gore. Now, I don't know shit about Gore. I don't know that much about Kang either. But, what little I know about both of them, I 100% agree it was Gore. And on top of that, you had motherfucking Christian Bale. Bro. You had Christian Bale and a villain that could have been, like, seriously dark and seriously awesome. They should have shown him killing more gods. 100 fucking percent, man. Yeah, they wasted him to, run around being all skinny and weird and scaring kids. Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse. Yeah, that wasn't a great casting either. Comic Score was a fucking problem. It took 3 different eras of Thor to beat him. Yeah. I'm saying. Like, he didn't have to, like, become a slasher or anything, but he could have been way fucking more badass than he was. And he could have killed a shit ton of gods in a bloodless manner to keep PG-13 going. Yeah, they done fucked up Thor. Hardcore. It was poor what they did with him. Spoof at the end of Spider-Man 4, Peter gets a letter revealing Professor X's school, but the address doesn't exist. Sense goes off, looking up to see the incursion in the sky. That'd be wild. That'd be wild. That would be wild. Well, technically, he beat the ants, but it took a lot of effort, and then he lost to the ant family, which is still not as bad as losing to fucking modified ants, but in terms of trying to be the big bad of a whole saga, and you got the appellation, the Conqueror, to your name, you bet not lose to the ant family. You just can't do it and be considered a badass. You just can't. All right. Anyway, back to the subject. She's fucking Jean Grey. We all need to just get used to it. Probably. Gore could have carried a trilogy if they'd done it right. 100%. Something interesting is when King asks if he's killed Scott before, he lists off a bunch of Avengers but never says he recognizes them. That's true. That's true. I don't remember any of them, but there are some wild yet interesting theories going around about Ant-Man. I've run across them here and there, but I don't remember any of them. I didn't bookmark them or any of that shit. So. It's strange that despite how many Avengers and how many universes he killed, this may be the first Ant-Man, implying that Scott is some kind of anchor being himself. For the longest time, Ant-Man was Hank Pym. So it's entirely possible that in most of the universes, he was killing Ant-Mans, but they were Hanks and not Scott's. That makes any sense. Another thing he said, Justin Kroll, in the same thing, talking about what Kevin was up to. Evidently, he also, Mr. Feige, gave Amy Pascal a lot of room to play with Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, initial reaction is, please God, no. What the fuck are you doing, Kevin? But evidently, I mean, overall, she actually is a good producer. So as long as she didn't, I don't imagine that she did too much meddling, you know? I feel like she was probably more of the facilitator kind of producer that just, problems come up, she solves them. If you got a problem, she'll solve it. Like that kind of producing. I think that's probably what she did. I mean, I'm sure she, put forth ideas and shit. But I don't think she probably, because let's face it, they are getting 75% of it, but this is a fucking Marvel Studios with a Sony stick. Remind you of any other projects that, are purport to be something but just haven't stuck around? Yes, no, maybe. Anyway, so Pascal's been heavily involved in Brand New Day. And again, initial reaction is like, that bitch? And yeah, she did some stupidity when it came to Spider-Man background Endgame when she was still at Sony. Exactly, Brennan. But again, that's how things were. Things nowadays are a bit different. And I trust Kevin, so if Kevin trusted her not to fuck around, I guess I will too. I guess that's basically what that comes down to. Tyrion sees some paranoia amongst one team of Avengers over the arrival of Fantastic Four. Scott maybe seeing Doom being being first one who thinks something else. Maybe. Not the only person sick for that matter has experienced the variant. Along with Stern's warning Sam about the right. Possible. I mean, I personally wouldn't give that much shine to Ant-Man, but you never fucking know. I'm sure. I mean, I'm not creative. I'm sure those guys could come up with a way to make it cool. But let's just say that wouldn't be at the top of my list of ideas. I'll just put it that way. All right. Chat. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go pee, and then we're gonna get into the shit. We're gonna get into the juice. We're gonna get into the zest, the meat, the core. We're gonna probe the core. And we're gonna delve into some Spider-Man / Doomsday news that is highly impactful. After. Of it. This may offend some. Okay. Well, there you go. Anyone who I may have offended with my goonerism there, sorry, not sorry. I'm a gooner. I ain't gonna apologize for it. I'm not like a massive, massive gooner. I'm not a creepy gooner, but I am a gooner. Okay. All right, chat. So, Doomsday. Yes, it was, Brennan. Doomsday. It's a thing. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And of course, a lot of nerds want to know what the fuck's going to happen in it. A lot of nerds want to know. Inquiring nerds want to know what's going to happen in Doomsday. Well, an interesting leak came from an interesting source the other day. Prior to that, you guys heard of John Campea, I assume? Well, he and Robert Meyer Burnett have allegedly read. They've read the script, I believe they claim, and so they say they know what's going to happen in the movie. Now they absolutely refuse to give out specifics, which is totally fine. Totally fine. It's up to those with knowledge, uh, when and where they decide to dispense it, right? So, that's cool. They don't want to give out details. That's fine. But they will answer questions if they feel they can keep the answer vague enough. And then they'll just in general talk about how they feel about what they read. So Campea and Rob Meyer Burnett both, you'll recall, They were saying this movie's gonna, they're saying Doomsday. People were talking about Doomsday making 2, maybe even 3 billion, which is fucking crazy. We talked about this. Then the other day, Campia said the opening of the movie is going to be insane. The action is going to be crazy. And he said the movie keeps it on the gas pedal, like the whole movie. Like the action is just going to be ridiculous. But he said the opening, what did he say? The opening sequence could be the best opening sequence in any comic book movie ever. Right? And now, one other thing from Campia. Now, you guys know we keep track of all this shit around here, all the rumors, the scoops, the leaks, yada yada. And it's been a fucking roller coaster. Brand New Day was. You guys remember all the fucking rumors that were flying around about Brand New Day for the longest time? That shit was nuts. Like Doomsday hasn't even gotten that nuts yet, but there's a lot of shit flying around about Doomsday here and there, right? They've been kind of nuts. Um, so we got a whole new one the other day. Now, this run comes from an individual that, as a person, I have zero respect for whatsoever. I could wax poetic about how I think this person is a low level human. But I mean, I spent time pontificating on this shit before. I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time talking about it tonight. But the source is Gary from Nerd Rock. This rumor comes from Gary over at Nerd Rod. Like I said, I've spoken about Gary and his ilk plenty of times. He's a douchebag. The end. But he's a douchebag with sources. Now, he doesn't have like a stellar track record per se, but he's had some big shit before everyone else a couple, 3 times. So I wouldn't call him super reliable, but I also wouldn't call him like a fraud, I guess is the best way to put it. So he dropped some shit about the opening sequence of Doomsday. Now remember, Campio was like basically spooging all over his fucking microphone about the opening sequence to Doomsday. So, okay. So there's 2 clips from Gary. We shall watch them now.
In the beginning, there's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man world with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus fighting the Fox X-Men.
Now, there have been little bits of rumors here and there. What's his fucking name? Chris Claremont, in all his talking about Doomsday at various cons, said that Wolverine was going to kill someone important in Doomsday. I don't remember if he said specifically it was the beginning, but he did say Wolverine was going to kill someone important in Doomsday. I can't remember if he addressed the Toby thing correctly, but there have been other rumors. People have already been talking about a fight between Wolverine and Toby. How's that going to come about? Yada yada. So yeah, this is like this kind of thing has been hinted at for a couple months or so here and there, but just a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, yada yada yada. Eddie Brock, nah. Eddie Brock is way cooler than this putz. But anyway, so, all right, I'm not going to interrupt. I've pontificated on this fuckwad enough. Let's just hear what he has to say. Oh yeah, and there are again bits of rumors here and there that sort of back this up.
In the beginning, there's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man world with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus fighting the Fox X-Men. Fighting the Fox X-Men. And the Fox X-Men destroy Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man world, and he dies. In the beginning, there's
Should I play it again? Let's play it again.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man world with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus fighting the Fox X-Men. Fighting the Fox X-Men. And the Fox X-Men destroy Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man world, and he dies. In the beginning.
So according to Gary, the opening of Doomsday will start off in Tobey Maguire's universe. It'll be him and Doc Ock hanging for, well, they did kind of make up at the end of No Way Home. So him and Doc Ock are hanging. And in come the Fox X-Men. They come rolling in to destroy Tobey's universe. And they succeed. And in the process, Tobey Maguire dies. Remember, we've already been hearing talk about Tobey and Wolverine fighting. People are like, why and how? Well, there's that, allegedly. And then, again, you got Claremont talking about how Wolverine kills someone very important. He doesn't say when in the movie this happens, as I recall. I could be wrong. But I don't believe he said when in the movie. But he says Wolverine kills someone very important. So, yeah, there is, I guess you could call it loose corroboration that already exists for this to happen. If this is true, I think killing Tobey would be a big motherfucking mistake, bro. Like, massive mistake. Massive. Now yeah, I don't know. I don't think that would be I don't think that'd be a good idea. So I'm torn about this one. It sounds like an amazing opening. Like, I mean, again, and Tobey's universe getting destroyed has also been a rumor for a while. The circumstances surrounding it were never really talked about, just that it was going to happen. But yeah, I don't think that'd be a good idea to kill the Tobey like right at the beginning of the fucking movie. Because let's face it, he's the most popular live action Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2 is fucking goated, bro. Like, it's probably top 3, top 5 for sure comic book movies of all time. Easily top 5, probably top 3 in most people's lists. Number 1 on a lot of people's lists. Right? So yeah, that would kind of be dumb. But on the other hand, in terms of, you know, the movie itself, that'd be a good goddamn way to let the crowd that'd be a good way to let the audience know that, like, this shit's serious. Like, this isn't going to be a fun fuck around movie. Like, the stakes are there, and the stakes are high, and big shit gonna happen a lot. So in terms of that aspect for the story, that would work really, really well. I just don't think killing Tobey would work for the audience at all. Now, here's another clip also related. From Gary.
All the heroes have to team up to fight their world. So the Sentinels that you see in the background of the X-Men trailer are fighting with, not against,
with the X-Men.
With the X-Men.
Oh, okay.
And the X-Men, which does include Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, destroy Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man world or take part in it. All the heroes have to team up to fight their world. So the Sentinels.
So maybe whoever put these clips up put them in out of order. Maybe. I'm not sure. But so he talks again a little bit more about the X-Men going and welcome back, sir. You know, invading Tobey's universe and blowing it the fuck up. Now he's saying that the Sentinels we saw in the background of the third trailer where Scott's ripping his fucking visor off and, you know, like the way we've wanted that shit to happen in live action for fucking decades. Like literal, like 2.5 fucking decades we've been waiting for that shit. Anyway. Gary is saying that the Sentinels we saw behind him when he's losing his shit are playing nice with the mutants. Like they're same teaming with the mutants. Which is interesting. Now, I don't know how much sense that makes. I mean, the destruction we see in the background of Scott doing that scream in the teaser, it didn't really look like much. You couldn't tell what kind of building or buildings were on fire. You just know that a bunch of shit was on fire and there's a Sentinel walking around and Scott's losing his goddamn mind. I mean, obviously, we all initially thought because they were showing the school for a lot of the trailer that it would be natural to assume that that's where the fire and the Sentinel and Scott were as well, was at Xavier's school, right? I mean, Occam's razor. If that's in there, and that's in there, and that's in there, and then there's a scene of destruction, I mean, it doesn't have to, but wouldn't you think it would follow that the destruction is where the rest of the fucking trailer was at, right? But it doesn't have to be the case. It could be the case that that scene was actually taking place in Tobey's universe, and Tobey didn't go alone. Maybe Tobey took out someone that would make Scott have that reaction. Maybe. Maybe. Could be. And ultimately we'll see, but like I'm saying, the Occam's razor says that's all at the X Mansion. At the school. But that doesn't have to be the case. Right? So yeah, so X-Men invading Tobey's universe, possibly with Sentinels in tow on their side. Fighting Tobey and Doc Ock, succeeding in destroying the universe and killing Tobey. That is the crux of what Gary from Nerdrotic offered. And of course, the nerd sphere on the internet lost its goddamn mind, as you can imagine, because we're talking about killing fucking Tobey Spider-Man. Like, of course, the nerdverse is gonna lose its motherfucking mind, right? That only makes sense. The rest of it, I mean, is Sentinels working with the X-Men instead of trying to kill them pretty cool? Hell yeah, it is. I'm not going to say that's not cool. But obviously, the biggest deal in the whole thing is fucking killing Tobey Maguire Spider-Man? What? That's fucking crazy. Yeah, everyone left right when I got to the good shit. Okay. Um. Yeah. Super interesting. But then later that day, my friend and yours, the Geeky Cast, came out with this. Says, "Yo, someone just reached out. Take this with a grain of salt!" Exclamation. So Toby gets saved by a TVA portal, but it's not Loki. We think Toby dies, but later it's revealed he was saved. So he put that out after posting Gary's clips. So that'd be cool. I could see them doing that. We're like, holy shit, Toby's dead. Angry for most of the movie, and then poof, he pops back up in the TVA there at the end of the movie, which, again, that has also kind of been a long standing rumor that Toby, Deadpool, Hugh Jackman would be part of the team that protects Loki at the end of time. That's been a rumor for a hot minute. So this makes sense. This makes more sense than like what Gary said, where he's just gonna flat out fucking die. Okay. So, but remember, this is, I mean, Geeky's a good reporter of scoops and shit, but he is still building his source base, right? So, and he was honest about it. He was honest about it. Like, take this with a grain of salt. So, but I got to say, it makes sense. I'll at least go that far, right? So, yeah, there's that. So it's possible that we think Toby dies and he gets saved, or he could fucking die. Um, but yeah, so the main point being, holy shit, Toby gonna fucking die? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. And again, Nerdverse blowed the fuck up on the interwebs. So of course, people asked Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus about it. Now, when Josh talked about this earlier, uh, uh, he was intimating that maybe Alex did this because he doesn't like Gary, and I understand that because Gary's an asswipe. And that he was being vague. So here's the tweet. Alex quote tweets this person. Rumors about X-Men taking on Tobey, Spider-Man, and Doc true? Alex's answer, no. I love Papa Josh. But what the fuck is vague about that? What the fuck is cagey about that? Specific question. Are the rumors about X-Men fighting Tobey, Spider-Man, and Doc Ock true? Simple answer, no. What's vague? Maybe is vague. I can't talk about it's vague. He was asked a direct question and gave a fucking direct ass answer. He said, no. So Alex is directly refuting Gary. And then someone followed up with, again, a quite direct question. Alex, please, for my mental sanity, please tell me Toby doesn't die in Doomsday. That's all I need to know. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man will not die in Avengers Doomsday. Again, what the what are we talking about with vague? That, again, plain direct question with a plain ass direct answer. So Alex has refuted. Basically, he's just come out and, based on his knowledge and sources, has refuted Gary's knowledge and sources. So the question then becomes, who do you believe? Who do you believe? Do you believe Gary? who says that there is going to be a fight in Toby's universe between the X-Men and Toby and Dr. Octopus, and that eventually universe go bye-bye, and so does Toby. Toby die. Or do you believe Alex, who says, ain't none of that shit happening? You guys think about it while I grab myself another pop, because, oh my God, Cottonmouth can help. I'll change me mind. I wanted some water. Toby's got to die at some point. It ain't going to feel good, but no matter what, he ain't making it out of secret. I mean, that's actually pretty likely. I'm not saying he shouldn't die at all. I'm just saying he shouldn't die in the opening scene of Doomsday. People will lose their goddamn mind, and I wouldn't blame him. So who do you believe? You believe Alex? Okay. Give y'all a couple more minutes to answer. Who do you believe? Do you believe Alex or do you believe Gary? Oh, sorry. Josh yapping. Yeah, a little bit. Like I, because I was watching on the replay, so I had seen Alex's tweets long before I saw Josh's take on him. And I was like, again, y'all know we all love Josh, but we all love Josh, um, despite his imperfections sometimes. And I'm gonna freely admit, he said Alex is being vague, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, what? What? Direct question. Are the rumors about the X-Men fighting Spider-Man and Doc Ock true? No. What's vague about a direct no? Riddle me that, chat. Tell me Toby's going to live. Toby does not die in Avengers Doomsday. Again, that to me, that's a distinct lack of vagueness. Seems pretty direct and to the point. He's not dying. And I will say I am much more inclined to believe Alex over Gary. And that's the majority of why I say that is because Alex has a much longer and stronger record than Gary does. Gary's gotten some big shit, and he's gotten big shit before everyone a couple, 3 times. Alex be doing this on the regular. You've been doing it longer. He just flat out does it more. So I'm inclined to believe the person with the better resume. Like I can separate the news from the source. Yeah, Gary's a douche. I'm not believing him because he's a douche. I'm not believing him because the person contradicting him um been doing it longer at a very very high level. It's just that simple. And on top of that, again, killing Toby off early would be ridiculously dumb. It makes no sense. So that also makes me inclined to believe Alex. They both be right. They probably have multiple script scenes that they're still working out. Yeah, one source could have one version, one source could have another. That is entirely possible. I will say this. I don't care who's right on the X-Men fight in the universe. Actually, I kind of want Gary to be right about that part. Like, I almost kind of hope Alex is wrong about the fight itself. I would love to see that fight. But yeah, Toby dying would be a no-no. But yeah, give me that fucking fight all day. Like, I'm actually rooting for Gary in this one specific situation. Yeah, give me the X-Men fighting Toby and Doc Ock, please. That'd be awesome. So, according to Alex, Toby is actually not dying. But that wasn't the end of Alex tweeting. No, sir, that was not the end of Alex tweeting. He was answering more questions. So he quote tweets this question here. Can Disney even kill off a Sony property? Again, this still has to do with Gary's leak. Alex says they've killed Tom Holland twice, so. Wait, what do you mean twice? What does Alex mean twice? And then he quote tweets his tweet, says, I mean, ... once. Now wait just a goddamn minute. Hold up. Wait. Why does he say twice and then go back and say, oops, I meant once? Chat. He has only been killed once when he got snapped at the end of Infinity War. Just that one time. So why is Alex saying twice? And now we've shifted, and notice we've shifted from Toby over to Tom Holland. So he, for lack of a better term, now this won't be confirmed, but at least in his mind, he debunked Gary's shit, right? So far as Toby goes, debunked from Alex's point of view and mine, but that has nothing to do with it. But then that resulted in the question about Marvel being able to even kill a Sony character. And then he says, well, they killed Tom Holland twice, which Tom Holland is a Sony character because Spider-Man's Sony. And then again, he makes the correction, I mean once. Alex is vague. A lot. Not answering those other two questions, but yeah, for the most part, he's vague. Like this bullshit. And he likes to drop little hints. Just little vague hints. Just enough to get the gears going and the brain cells shaking hands and the motor running and the synapses firing. Chat, I'm going to tell you a secret. Don't tell anyone else. Got me kicked in. Okay. So what the fuck is Alex up to saying Tom Holland died twice? Or they've killed him twice when it's only been once? Chat. Do you remember a few months back, a couple months back? And the rumors have actually been around for a while. People have long been talking about and this goes back to like the older rumors about Brand New Day when we were going to get Null and symbiotes left and right and all that kind of shit. When symbiotes were like a big deal, or were supposedly going to be a big deal in this movie. You remember those old rumors? And you remember, I can't remember if this is rumor or speculation or theorizing, But it was talked about a lot about how, ooh, Tom Holland could die and he could get resurrected by the symbiote and he'll have the black suit for Secret Wars and it'll be dope. You've heard that talked about a lot, right? Well, that redacted guy, who actually is one of the better scoopers out there, doesn't do a shit ton out there, but really accurate when they do. Back in December, posted this. It'd be Spider-Man digging himself out of his fucking grave in the symbiote suit, or in the black suit. And he said, brand new day. And then he quote tweeted someone who finally fucking caught on. And quote tweeted it with, I'm guessing this is footage from the game. Again, Peter Parker looks kind of dead, getting the symbiote and about to be resurrected. Chat, unless Alex is fucking around, I think the Tom Holland death and then subsequent resurrection, probably in a post credit via symbiote, because that hasn't been talked about in a while. If Alex is not fucking with us, if Alex is not trolling with us, that shit's back on the table, baby, and I want it. Because remember, they're talking about how Tom Holland is not in Doomsday, or if he is, it'll be for about that fucking long, and probably not till the end, right? This has been a thing for a while. That Tom Holland's not going to be in Doomsday because Beyond Brand New Day somehow runs parallel. I don't know. Anyway, basically, he's going to be busy doing Brand New Day shit while the rest of Doomsday be happening elsewhere. But he is supposed to be a big deal in Secret Wars. He is supposed to be a big deal in Secret Wars. So imagine it, chat. If this is what Alex is hinting at, we will see a Spider-Man die. We won't see Toby die in Doomsday, but we damn well could see Tom Holland die in Brand New Day. How he dies, we could speculate about that all the time. Catch a stray from Punisher, killed by Grey Hulk. Because remember, it's supposed to be Grey Hulk, not full Savage Green Hulk. Which, it'll be good to get some kind of Savage Hulk back, but fucking cop out. Or Banner type Savage Hulk, I should say. I mean, Red Hulk is sad. But yeah, I still feel like we're getting shortchanged on that one. Like, to be honest, I feel again, better than Professor Hulk, but I want full green rage monster fucking Harlem smashing Hulk, and I only say Harlem smashing because that's what happened in the Ed Norton one. He and Abomination smashed Harlem. Yeah, so there's quite a few ways he could end up dead. But the main point being, it appears that Alex is saying that scenario is back on the table. And it is entirely possible that we will see Tom Holland Spider-Man die at the end of Brand New Day. And either at the very, very end of the movie or in a post-credit, we will see the gravesite. We'll basically see that comic book cover. We'll see the gravesite. Well, we'll get to see all the action preceding it, though. We'll see the gravesite. We'll probably do one of those kind of above zoom-in deals. Then it'll get really fucking close, right? Like to the grass. Then we'll see the symbiote come squelching along. then we'll see it come to Peter's grave. Stop right on top of it. And then squelch its way down into the soil. And the camera will probably just stay on as an overhead shot, fairly close, just a couple feet above it. Or actually maybe from like the foot of the grave, right? And it'll just sit there for a few seconds. There'll be nothing. And then the ground will start to pop a little bit. And then, you'll get the usual individual climbing out of a grave sequence, ground popping gradually, a fist comes through or some shit, and then the ground breaks more, and fucking work their way out, looking like that comic cover that the Redacted guy posted. And then, again, because this runs kind of parallel to Secret Wars, he will be ready to go in the black suit in time to play a major role, or running parallel to Doomsday, and he'll be ready to go in the black suit for Secret Wars. Think they're bringing Red and or She-Hulk back for anything? She-Hulk, probably not, because Maslany's like, fuck Disney. So, and I doubt they consider She-Hulk important enough to recast unless they are like really married to that concept art where her and Hulk and Scar were in that medieval town. I mean, if they really want that to be a thing, they'd have to recast because Tatiana's done, bro. And as for Red Hulk, I mean, it's possible he might get broken off the raft and be available for a fight in New York against Doom's army or whatever, but I'll just say I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. I'm giving it a 50-50 shot of Red Hulk. I mean, he'd be damn useful in a fight. I just don't know if Harrison Ford's up for that shit. So, I mean, it doesn't necessarily. He could just do like the normal fucking dude. I can never remember a name when I want to. Anyway, he could like just be the homie without Hulk, and they could use a body double for the Hulk because they already have his fucking face mask. It's not like they'd have to do that shit again. They could just use the same template and call it a day. Maybe. I mean, they have reasons to do both, and they have reasons to not give a fuck about either of them. So, honestly, I have no idea. Coin flip that bitch. Get your Two-Face on. So, yeah, chat. All kinds of Spider-Man news, even though it's Spider-Man news that occurs in two different movies. For a while, we thought Toby was going to die, and he still could. Or if Geeky's right, it could appear that he dies, is rescued by the TVA, but not necessarily Loki. And we'll be there waiting for everyone else when they get there to battle Doom at the TVA / the end of time. What about MVP Gaia and the Skrulls? I'm going to go ahead and say they're not going to be in it. Or if they're in it, I hope it's just long enough for Doom, or at least his army, to destroy them all. Like, you can give me 15 seconds of watching them all die. I'm cool with that. Yeah, not killing Toby till the end of Secret Wars. That in my mind, that's the move. Like, if you're gonna kill him, wait till the bitter end, man. Have him die going out like a G against Doom. Right? If you are going to kill Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, that's how you fucking do it. Him going toe to toe with Doctor Doom. And having Doctor Doom be all fucking arrogant like he always is, and in his mind think he's playing with Toby by not using magic against him and shit, like drawing out the fight for his own entertainment and probably talking shit the whole time. Because Peter Parker is quippy, but Doctor Doom talks that shit. Like, there's a difference between Peter Parker's quips and Doctor Doom just saying his shit. Doctor Doom just says his shit. Can you imagine that? Peter quipping at him, trying to fight him, and Doom being just like, I'm not even using my magic. Doom isn't even using his magic. And this is all you can do against me? And then fucking whips up a spell and fucks his ass up. Something like that. But, a good minute or two of Doom just fucking with him and talking his shit would be amazing. They're going to do it. That's how they should fucking do it. What do you guys think about that? Why are your ears back there? Relax. I love my cat, but also fuck my cat. But I love my cat. Oh shit. Yeah. There's going to be or should be a heavy body count. Oh, yeah. Motherfucker's going to die. Motherfucker's going to die in Doomsday and motherfucker's going to die in Secret Wars. Motherfucker's going to die. I have zero doubt about that. I figure most of them will be Fox X-Men in Doomsday. Not sure about who's going to die in Secret Wars. Although, I'm inclined to side with those that theorize that Scott Summers will make it to Battle World like he did in Hickman's run. Shit. In Secret Wars, he actually gets the Phoenix Force because they had a Phoenix Egg with him. Imagine thinking to pack that when your universe is about to be destroyed. Quick, grab the Phoenix Egg. Anywho, so they had a Phoenix Egg, and I don't know. Somehow they did whatever they do with the Phoenix Egg, and Scott got the Phoenix Force. And then God Emperor Doom still dog walked his ass. Just to give you an idea of how OP the God Emperor version of Doom is. He dog walked Scott Summers with the fucking Phoenix Force. Yeah, that'd be not. I doubt they would actually do that. I doubt they would give Scott the Phoenix Force, but I just really think it'd be dope if he survived the Battle World at least. Give Cyclops true justice, man. True justice would be having him fuck shit up and surviving Doomsday, getting into Secret Wars and fucking more shit up. Now, if they want to have Doom fucking dog walk him like he does in the comic, after he's a badass Scott Summers for a while, I'm okay with that. You know, like the more aura they give God Emperor Doom in Secret Wars, the better it'll be for the character going forward. Anyway, you know, by the end of these two movies, the ultimate badassness of Doom needs to be firmly entrenched in the minds of everybody, and I have full confidence. Oopsie. Doctor Doom dominating some of the X Men would be a good show of his power. Yeah, except he's going to use them before he does that. He will not destroy them until he has gotten full use out of them first. He's practical like that. I'm not even using close to half of my power. I mean, yeah, that too. Except Doom would be like, Doom is barely using the power contained in one of Doom's pinkies right now. You know, some shit like that is what he would say. Although, much more cool than what I came up with, which is why other people write comics and I don't. Or write anything. Comics, books, fucking newspaper articles. I could probably pull one of those. But yeah, story type stuff, that is not my wheelhouse. Excuse me. All right. Well, that's all I got, chat. What do you guys think? You got anything further? Questions, thoughts, concerns? Total other subject? It is your time now, chat. So take advantage of it, because otherwise I'm getting the fuck out of here. Because it isn't working. No, thank you. Nothing? You don't want to hear me yap no more? And I really kind of don't blame you. I'm mightily impressed when you guys make it to like 3 hours or that. Fucking 4 hours. I actually went back and counted through. I think I've done, like, I literally scrolled back through all my streams because I knew I had done 4 hours before. Shit. I think I done either 4 or 5 times total. I've done a 4 hour. I don't know if that's like impressive in the grand scheme of YouTube, but you know. And I only bring it up because you motherfuckers hang out for those 4 fucking hours if it goes that way. You're amazing. And I'm very, 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 very grateful that you are willing to spend that much time here in the basement listening to me blather about nerdy news and speculation and whatever else I have to digress as well. So, thank you all for being here very, very much. Come on back Saturday at 10. We'll talk about what happens between now and then. I did not mean to rhyme. Grow up. So, have a good, safe rest of your week. And see you back here at 10. Much love, y'all. Thanks for being here. Oh my goodness gracious. And I almost forgot. If y'all wouldn't mind, whether if you made it this far on the live stream or the replay, pretty please. If you didn't hit the buttons on the way in, hit them on the way out. And if you're feeling really frisky, share the stream. Send it to your family. Send it to your friends, your coworkers. Show them the coolness and the awesomeness and the nerdiness that exists here in the basement. Give them the opportunity to join the fun. thank you all again very, very much for spending your precious time here listening to me talk and make weird faces and off-color jokes. I really, really appreciate it. Y'all are the dopest. And I will forever be grateful. Have a good rest of your week. See you back here Saturday night. Much love, y'all. Peace.